it shaking hands and kissing babies. You get to know the people. You have to get to know the people that you're talking to. But in order to know the people, you have to know yourself. You have to be comfortable in your skin, right? You have to be comfortable enough in your skin to actually feel comfortable approaching other people. So you have to have confidence. So we're going to devote a little bit of this conversation towards authenticity and authentic communication for leadership development. As a matter of fact, Tiffany asked me to come in specifically to give you guys a gift. You guys like gifts? Yes. I like gifts. I like to be giving gifts. You guys like to be giving gifts? Yes. I've got a gift for everybody here. If you would, well, we have to pay the bills. So let's pay the bills and let's thank the sponsors for having me come in, right? I'm super appreciative, right? Super appreciative to everybody that asked me to come in. We have a very hectic schedule, but people are more important than profit. People are more important than profit. Meaningfulness is more important than money. Impact is more important than income. If you're writing, this is the time to make sure that you do that. Value is more important than valuation. So again, that's meaningfulness over money, impact over income, people over profit, and value over valuation. These phenomenal organizations feel the same way, and that's why they asked me to come in. Okay, so we're going to share something today that's going to be massively impactful. If you dare to have your communication skills up-leveled, this is the gift. This is the gift. If you guys take down that link, put that in your computer. How you doing, sir? I remember you. If you take this link, this is going to take you to an assessment that's going to give you your superpowers, your ability to connect most powerfully. We're going to help you become dream communicators. Can everybody say that with me? Dream communicator, a dream communicator. What would it be like if you had everything that you wanted through speaking to people, through connecting with people? I want to let you know that it's massively possible. However, in order to connect with people most powerfully, you have to know not only who you're speaking to, but yourself. You have to be comfortable in your skin. You have to know what your superpowers are. So I'm going to introduce you to some personalities, and I'm going to introduce you to some superpowers. And when you recognize your own, it will be massively easy for you to connect with other people, because when you see them, you'll be able to see theirs. So this is kind of like X-ray vision. And I know it sounds impossible or an oversell, but I guarantee you that this is very powerful. So let's begin here. Authenticity begins with self-awareness. I exist at the intersection between personal branding and leadership development. Just so that everybody's aware. Personal branding, building your personal brand within or outside of the organization so that you can move up and become more of a value add, right? So moving up in or out of, because every fit is not for us. Every situation is not for us. So the way that you make the most of a situation is by making the most of yourself. And that begins with authenticity, which begins with self-awareness. So let me ask you a question. Have you ever said something to someone that didn't resonate the way it was meant to be? More often than not, right? You say one thing, they say something back. In communication, there are three components. There's the sender, there's the receiver, and then there's the actual message, the actual content. And sometimes between the sender and the receiver, things get crossed. Why is get crossed? People don't understand. You give someone a compliment, they take offense to it. What did you mean by that? That ever happened to you? You say something to start out as a compliment and they don't understand it and they take it the wrong way? What about a job interview? You ever had a job interview or a performance review where someone's giving you feedback and it sounds a little bit too critical, a little bit too harsh? Have you ever tried to coach someone, but they took it as challenging? That assessment will help you get through that, right? So people don't understand what you're trying to say because you don't understand their lens. So everyone has a filter here. Everyone has a worldview in which they receive information. We have our own power, the way we like to speak, but then other people have the way that they like to be spoken to. And that's what we're going to learn today, how to see someone, spot someone, and tell the way they like to be spoken to. You like to be spoken to softly, don't you? Very nicely, right? Yes, ma'am, right? You see how I just did that? And then other people like to be challenged and spoke to a little bit differently. Do you like more direct conversation? More forceful sometimes, right? How about you? When we shook hands today, you kind of let me know, right? This is the way people communicate. We communicate differently, so you can't shake everybody's hand like that. You might break someone's hand if you try to shake it that way. Okay, so everybody here has their own set of preferences, traits, and characteristics. How do you say, talk to me nice? You ever heard that? Talk to me nice. Yeah, don't talk slick. Don't talk crazy. Talk to me nice. So we're going to talk real nice, and I'm going to show you the power in communication. Because when you have a conversation, you want to make sure that you bring your whole self to the conversation. And that's hard for some people. Do you ever feel like you have to modify certain parts of yourself when you have conversations? There's just some things that are not on the table for discussion. Doesn't that hurt? It's called cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance, when you have to leave a little bit of yourself at home and put on the corporate hat. Yeah, you ever had to put on a corporate hat to speak to people because you can't show that side of yourself? You can't be your full, authentic self? What about being able to be your true, authentic self and bring all of you to the environment? How comfortable would that be? Real talk, like how comfortable would that be if you could bring your whole 360-degree self to the organization and the conversation? That would be a different conversation, wouldn't it? That would be probably all of us would speak a lot differently, maybe even walk a little bit differently when we enter the room. Think about it. In many organizations, what do they say? Dress down Fridays, right? Dress down day. I can remember being in multiple organizations, and on dress down day, I made sure I dressed up a little bit more. And people would look at me and say, "What's wrong with you?" And I would say, absolutely nothing. This is my authentic self. This is how I move. This is how I feel comfortable. So on dress down day, that doesn't mean that I have to dress down or wear a T-shirt. That doesn't mean that I have to dress down or lower my standards, is what it is. You understand? Lower your standards. So you don't want to lower your standards for anyone else. Because every time you move, every word that you say is a communication. Your attire. One of the things that I teach is changing your attire to match your desire. Changing your attire to match your desire. Who do you want to be? How do you want to be received? How do you want people to perceive you? Do you understand that there are pay grades? There are pay grades. When people look at you, they perceive you a certain kind of way, and in a job interview, you can come a certain kind of way, and they already know your pay bracket. They know where they're going to place you. When they say they'll offer, if you come in a little bit differently, though, that number changes. You can put a 0 behind that number. You can literally put a 0 behind that number. So let's get into it. When we don't bring our whole self to an event, an interaction, a phone call, or an organization, there are gaps. There are gaps. Now, these gaps may emerge as lost revenue, potential wins, and opportunity. They also manifest as disconnection with ideal clients. This is Salesforce, right? Last time I checked, this was Salesforce, so we're in the sales business. But when we don't bring our whole self to the conversation, we miscommunicate, or we disconnect our communication, and we lose opportunity to connect, which means convert. Because if you can't communicate effectively, you can't connect effectively. And if you can't connect effectively, you can't convert effectively. So the moment you bring a little bit more of yourself, your revenue goes up just a little bit more. Your bottom line goes up. Your earnings go up. Your commission goes up. Your salary goes up. A little bit more of yourself that you bring to the table, Your salary goes up that much more. People notice you. Say, there's something different about you. I don't know. You've been conducting yourself a little bit differently. Come into my office. What would you like to do? How would you see things differently? Let me ask this. Does anybody have any ideas about things that they could see done a little bit differently within any organization? You ever been to an organization? Yeah. You ever been to an organization? You said, you know what? I see where we could have some improvisation, where we could make some improvements. Certain people are consulted for those changes. Other people just go with the flow. Don't you want to be the person that's consulted for the ideas? This skill that I'm going to give you will help you to become that person. So, when you think of strategy or growth, from this point forward, who plays chess? No chess? No chess over here? Checkers over here. It's okay. I'm going to teach you chess. I'm going to teach you chess real quick, and I'm going to combine it with communication. Because the world is playing chess, brother. You already know that. You already know that. People play checkers. People play checkers, but the world plays chess. This is the bigger game that we're playing. Anybody ever did you notice the gas price? That's a chess move. That's a chess move. You notice the gas price at the pump? That's a chess move. What about the price of rent? Has that gone up? About salary, has that gone up to match it? Price of milk go up. Price of eggs go up. That's a chess move. That's a chess move. And it's one of the ones close to mate. Those who play chess know you want to see the long game. Communication skills is the long game. What did Maya Angelou say? People forget. People forget. Say it again.
People forget what you say, but they'll forget what you do, but they'll never forget how you make them feel.
Come on. Maya Angelou said that you people will forget what you say and how you make them feel. So it doesn't make a difference what you know. It doesn't make a difference what you know, because 9 times out of 10, they're going to forget anyway. Right? But when you can do something like this, right? When you can do something like this and you can shake someone's hand authentically and say, how you doing, sir? My name is Shaan Rais. And look someone in their eyes, that's power. That's presence. That's called social capital. Social and relational capital. They'll never forget how you make them feel. So I went around to some tables and I asked some people to move up. How did you receive that? Was that warm? Was that inviting? Was that inclusive? Did it feel like I wanted you to be a part of this? That's because I do. And that's because that's the kind of feeling that I want conveyed here, because I was brought in to connect with people, not just have a talk, not just give a presentation, but to actually have presence, poise, and create relationships with people. Because that's what Tiffany kind of wants for this organization. That's her vision. You got to have vision when you communicate. What is your vision? When you have when you speak with someone, you have an opportunity to connect. Or you have an opportunity to fall into the fire like everyone else. So again, we're talking about chess, right? Strategy. Don't play checkers when the game is chess. If you care enough to learn about yourself and others, because when you learn about yourself, you learn about others too. That's a pin moment. That's a pin moment. You ever heard somebody say, well, I can't spend time. I just got out of a relationship and I can't get back into one because I'm trying to learn myself. I can't learn to love someone else until I learn how to love myself. Anybody can relate to that? You've got to know yourself before you can relate to, love, or have compassion or communicate effectively with anyone else. That's a chess move. We're getting closer to the mate. That's a chess move. So when you do this the right way, you categorize yourself as a heart-centered leader who cares enough about people to learn their styles and preferences. You have to care enough to care, to learn. There's multiple styles of leadership. There's autocratic leadership. Do what I say. The way I say it. You ever been talked to like that? You ever had a boss? Now, how did that make you feel? What was the feeling? That was harsh, wasn't it? I'm out of here. Exactly. She's checked out. She's checked out. You want people to come in, buy in, become a part of, not check out. But one small communication because something goes wrong on your side can create hell on earth for another person. Which means the game is over. You lost the game. It takes 2 seconds to erode what it takes you 20 years to build when it comes to communication, reputation, leadership, and personal brand. You can work hard, go to school, get all of the degrees, and work for 20 years to build up something phenomenal, and then have a Will Smith moment. Yeah, then you have a Will Smith moment, and you don't even remember what happened. You just remember you kind of walking off the stage. But you left your 20 years right there. Anybody ever blank out? Say something they didn't mean to say? Wish they could pull it back? We're living in that time where soft skills are more important than hard skills. Soft skills, this is a pin moment. Soft skills are more important than hard skills. Hard skills get you in the door. That's what's on your resume. What keeps you in the door is your ability to communicate, cultivate, and connect on a relational side. Because a lot of people have master's degrees nowadays, don't they? That's not a trump card anymore. An associate's degree is like a high school diploma. A bachelor's degree is like a GED. A master's degree is like an associate's degree. It gets you in the door. But your ability to communicate and cultivate meaningful relationships, play chess, that's what keeps you there. So let me introduce you to the queen. Queen is what they call, when you take that assessment, if you follow through and you care enough to care enough, when you take that assessment, you're going to come up in 4 different areas. It's going to tell you about yourself and other people and how to connect, how to cultivate, how to close, how to convert those conversations. And I'm telling you, this stuff works with your children. Yes, sir. It works with your children because if you got more than one, you got more than one personality in your house. Huh? People learned during COVID, hold on, who are these strangers in my house? I was outsourcing their parenting to the schools. When COVID happened, they shut the schools down. You're like, hold on, this guy got a little bit of an attitude. This person, if I raise my voice, they're going to cry. I ain't seen this guy all day. Where are these? Who are these people? And you had to learn yourself to figure out who they were and how they like to be talked to. How they like to be talked to. So the high queen or the high D personality type doesn't like you to ramble or waste time. That's me. I'm straight to the point, bottom line oriented. Get to it or get to it. I was walking around trying to make sure everything connected this morning. If you saw me, you saw what I mean. Make sure this works. I came in yesterday, right, brother? I came in yesterday to make sure the AV worked early in the morning, and then I'm gone because I'm not the small talk type. That's just not my personality. I love people. But it takes energy. It takes energy to connect with multiple different personalities in a small amount of time. This is my superpower, and I'm going to get more into that in a moment. Stay on task. If we're talking about this, don't go 5 down. Don't go down the block and around the corner on me. Please stay on task. Anybody here who likes people to stay on task? Very good, right? Now watch this. As I bring these different personalities up, you're going to see yourself and you're going to see other people. Be clear, specific, and on point. I speak very clearly. There's a certain kind of way. I like to receive information that way too. And people like kind of mumble and you don't really know what they're saying. It bothers me. I might ask once or twice, could you please say it again? And then I'm like the young lady here, out of there. I might still be here, but I've been gone. I was gone 5 minutes ago as soon as you opened your mouth and started mumbling. I was gone. Don't try to build personal relationships or chit-chat. If I'm here for business, then I'm here for business. Don't ask me how many kids I got. This is not why I'm here. That's a different setting. It's a different scenario for that. You understand? Let's get the task right, then we can get the relationship right. How about that? Anybody like that? Make sure you got the right stuff in the trunk, right stuff in the car, right stuff in the situation, in the suitcase, and then we can have the conversation. Other than that, I can't do it yet. I got to make sure the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed. Come prepared. Be prepared and organized. So does everybody relate that they can identify with people? Whether you're this person or not, do you know some people like this? These are the people who keep looking at their watch. If you happen to talk to somebody and you notice they do this, you're speaking to a high queen. So make it quick. Introducing the knight. Now the knight, or the high I in the assessment that you're going to take, that's the yellow bar, the high I. So they talk about their ideas and their goals. They plan their interactions and that support their goals and ideas. So Tiffany has a high I. I know that without having her take the assessment because she organized this. And I saw her on a Slack chat speaking about the people and how it was comfortable being in a room where people looked like her and it was more inclusive and she was able to relate. That's that relational capital piece. And you want to create that. So they're super energetic, able to speak for hours like myself. So I got to check my time sometimes, make sure I don't go over, right? I can elaborate on and on sometimes. So I have to check myself. And for these people, when you're talking to them, you don't want to break the ice like you would with the high queen. You want to ask them, how are the kids doing? You have children? How many children do you have? 2? Are they the world for you? Yeah. How were they this morning?
Great.
Yeah? Very good.
The younger one is good. The older one.
Now you guys see that? That's emotion. That's inclusivity. So after telling me that, don't you feel a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more on ease because you're able to talk about that which you care about? Now it's easier for me to talk to you about business and getting to the task. If she comes in and I don't acknowledge the fact that she's a mother or could be, then she's already looking at me one way. Oh, this guy don't care. He's just bottom line oriented. He's just here for the money. Think about the people that you have conversations with. Salesforce. Think about the people that you talk to on a regular, because every occasion, write this down, every occasion is an opportunity. Every occasion is an opportunity. I guarantee you this, guys. When you get this right, you can put a 0 behind the number in your bank account. How about that? Are there some people who would like to do that? What if you had another? I promise you, I guarantee you this, the ability to communicate effectively, the ability to cultivate and connect is what converts. So if you want to be more successful, if you want more free time, if you want more freedom in your package, if you want more money, if you want more impact, if you want more meaningfulness, you want to know people. You want to know people. So these guys here, like if someone talks to me, so this is my cameraman, Mr. B, right? Mr. B, say hi to the people. Good morning, good morning. So Mr. B, watch this. I was putting this presentation together this morning, and I use a Mac, and I didn't know how to pull the pictures out of one presentation to the next. And I'm sitting there struggling for about 20 minutes. I call Mr. B, 1, 2, 3. Facts and figures. I'm completely right-brained. He's left, so he knows facts and figures. Not my strong point. Then the bishop. So the bishop in chess, you set to the side. They're in the cut. You don't really hear them. They're not too loud, but they're effective. Did you hear what I said? They're not too loud, but they're effective. So Mr. B happens to be a high bishop or a high S. Super effective, not too loud. You won't notice him if I don't say, hey, Mr. B, say hi to the people. But he likes to connect with people on a powerful level, so he makes people look good, right? And I needed him for this presentation. You need to get all of your people in the room. And you need to be able to connect with them, and you need to be able to get them all on the same page. Does that make sense? Because if they're not on the same page, then you're to the left. You don't get the leverage because you're all left-brained. So I got people on my team who are left-brained, right-brained, center-brained, forebrained, lumbar region. So when I have a problem in my business, I have multiple people to look at it from multiple different angles and tell me what the problems are and what the gaps are. Now we're able to get to the impact. Now we're able to get to the revenue. Now we're able to get to the transformation. It's the same thing in your business. It's the same thing in your business. Jack Welch used to say, get all brains in the game. Anybody know Jack Welch? CEO of the century, General Electric. Ooh. Yeah, you're going to want to study him. Anyway, the bishop doesn't like to move so fast. So I drive too fast for bishops. Who are you in the car? Is somebody driving too fast, or are you the one driving too fast? You driving fast? You a high D like me. You a high D like me. You a high queen. You want to get it done. Get there, check in, lock in. Now you good. Now we can have a conversation. Before that, foot on the gas. Brakes don't exist.
But I think you also got to be aware of your environment.
Watch this. Say that again.
You have to be aware of your environment, because I might take my time at night and I need to be aware of what's going on around me. But if I'm clear on my vision and my agenda, yes, I'm going to be fast.
Yes, ma'am.
But if I'm clear on the vision and I'm just chilling, or it's night or it's raining, I got to change gears.
Wow. So how valuable, could you stand up for a minute, if you don't mind? Thank you so much. I greatly appreciate it. See, I try to bring people into my conversation and presentation. So it's okay. You look great for camera, right? Check this out. Is it valuable to you to have more mindsets in the game?
When you say that, what do you mean by that?
Is it more valuable for you to have people that are going to tell you to watch out for this or slow down sometimes in the car?
I think it's helpful.
Yes, ma'am.
And I think it's helpful for me to hear them.
There you go.
But I think when we talk about the beginning and being in tune with self, I still need to understand what I feel to be able to make the move.
Self-awareness.
Right.
Self-awareness. Write this down, guys. Self-awareness before people awareness. Thank you so much. Self-awareness before people awareness. See, if she's conflicted about who she is, then she don't care what nobody else got to say. A lot of times we have complaints about our leadership, but we don't develop our own leadership to be a better leader. They could do this better, but we're not the better example. Can anybody relate to that? They could do this better. This is called an external perspective. An external perspective sometimes would benefit, as the young lady just said, external perspective could sometimes benefit from the internal perspective, an internal reflection. That's what this assessment is going to give you, internal reflection. You're going to get back a 72-page report on you. It's X-ray vision into you. And once you have that internal reflection, it's easier to give or have an external perspective that penetrates every conversation. And that, yes, ma'am, it's on the link. Yes, ma'am, definitely. It's on the link. So it's going to take you to what we call the leadership chess test. And you'll be able to build your leadership as well as coach other people to build theirs as well. It's easy for you to see gaps in yourself and other people. Yourself first, because that's what it is. It's a personality assessment. Let you know why you jump to the gun and kind of rush to you understand? Why you do things in haste. Or who here suffers from procrastination? Uh-oh, hands went extra high. Okay, so watch this. This is the king. The king, now, this is beautiful because the king doesn't move unless it has to in chess. You already know that, right? But I was playing my father-in-law not too long ago, and he got me. And he got me with the king. And one of the things he says is, kings have swords too. I said, ooh, yeah, kings have swords too. A language only chess lovers would know, right? But what that means is that the C is the most powerful piece on the board. When I say they're the most powerful piece on the board, everybody that raised your hand, you're in good company. Warren Buffett, Jeff Bezos, yeah, Steve Gates, well, Bill Gates and Steve Jobs, all high C's. You think that's a coincidence? I don't believe in such things. They are the ones you go to with the spreadsheets, the facts, the figures, and the numbers. So you guys are super powerful in the room, but watch this. Do people sometimes bother you? The high C's that raise their hands, do people sometimes, like, they're not really like sometimes they can be like kryptonite, right? Huh? Yeah, if they don't move the right way, they can become kryptonite, right or wrong, brother? Could you stand up for a minute? Let me ask you one question. Yes, sir, you. Yes, sir. Definitely. One more time. Thank you so much. I greatly appreciate it. I'm not going to call on nobody else, so you're safe. Okay. Tell me, brother, why are people sometimes kryptonite for you? Wow. Now watch this. That's a high C perspective, but have you ever thought about this, or could this possibly be the fact that the person that you're speaking to is a high I and they just want to talk to you?
Yes, and I do that.
Yes, sir. Okay. After a while it gets draining. So the high D, high C have a lot in common, so I understand you. Thank you, brother. Thank you so much for that. That's why sometimes I'll come in, make sure stuff is right, and then get out of here, because it's draining. I literally promise you, like, when we connect with people, don't you, like by lunchtime, are you ready to eat? Yeah, by lunchtime you're ready to eat, because you got to re-strengthen yourself because you're giving all day.
And like on weekends, sometimes I just disconnect from everything.
Wow.
Talk to anybody. Like, what do you do? I'm going to get a hotel room.
Come on, get a hotel room with who? Just by myself. The young lady here, just by myself.
She's calling every 30 minutes.
Come on. This is what we're talking about, guys. We're talking about the power and personality. Now, how much more effective? Have you ever heard the words that the quality of the question will determine the quality of the answer? Now, I bet you that this brother's super knowledgeable and good at what he does. But let me ask you a question. Does the quality of the person's question and the way they come to you, does that determine your response? Yeah. Okay. That was a little hard give, right?
Well, sometimes, when you work with clients and you client-facing, they ask a dumb question, you really have to catch yourself.
Wow. Look at that.
You really have to just pause and breathe.
Come on, we're having a conversation. Thank you, brother. We're having a conversation about the power to communicate, connect. That's the piece he's talking about, connection. To convert. He could actually help some people, but if they come at him instead of coming to him and coming with him, smart enough to be able to move on their own. Go ahead, brother. Oh, yeah. I'm so glad.
I work in sales, so if I'm speaking to a CEO and he feels as if I'm insulting him in regards to his knowledge of this particular area of his company, he might react in a certain way.
I'm so glad.
So I'm curious, like, what's your thoughts on that?
Oh, yeah, I'm so glad that you asked me that. So everybody has a primary and a secondary. Everybody has a primary and a secondary. And then they also have something that they revert to when they're under pressure. So I might be a super high I and able to do this and have conversations, but when someone approaches me the wrong way or says the wrong thing to me, my D will go up. And my Harlem will come out. Right? My Harlem will come out, and I'll say, sometimes it's the look. You know about the look. You know how you just give your kids the look? Sometimes you have to say, grace and mercy. For the grace and mercy, therefore shall you go. Right? Before someone else comes out of me. St. Nicholas, Lenox Avenue. Like, we come from different, yes, sir, come on. The power of the question determines the power of the answer. So we judge people sometimes on the way they ask us a question, and that will, like what the brother said, when he said that, now I'm able to say something else to build on top of it. Please. Okay, very good. So if somebody says something wrong, then it's going to bring something wrong out. When someone says something right, that can bring the power out. So in a sales conversation, you want to know by ear who you're talking to so you can speak their language. So this is the loss when you don't do this the right way. Let's get into some of the losses. This is SHRM, 2013. This is the total cost of poor communication within an organization. Yeah, look at that number. I said you could put zeros behind your numbers when you do this the right way. You can take zeros out of your life, take possibilities out of your life, not just ruin relationships, but ruin your revenue, ruin your zip code, ruin your life when you do this the wrong way. That was 2013. That was yesterday. More people, more money, more problems. More gaps, more opportunities to get this wrong. If you get this right, you can win, guys. You can really, really win. But if you get this wrong, you can really, really lose. You can really lose bad. Not just the revenue, but the relationships, everything. Relational capital, social capital. This is February 24th. It was yesterday. So what I teach and what I say is brand you. Create your personal brand through your communication mastery. Because then people love you and people notice that. Why did she just came in here? Why is everybody running to her? Why is she the real leader and all of the leaders gather around her when there's a decision to be made? Hold on, I got to promote that person. Right? I got to promote that person. They're what they call the fast track. They're on the fast track. So brand you, build your personal brand with the assessment that I just gave you, which is going to give you the competency so you can have the confidence. Confidence comes from competence. Competence is what you're going to get through that assessment, and you're going to be able to build your personal brand through communication mastery. Now I'm going to end with this one last quote by Jack Welch, who was the CEO of the century. No one has upset him. He tripled, quadrupled, and then 20 times GE in the time that he was there. 20 times. People and revenue. He said, number one, cash is king. Number two, communication. And then number three, that's his high D. He said, buy or bury the competition. If you take anything away, please take this away. Everyone has a style and preference in which they like to be communicated through. This is authentic communication and communicating with authenticity for leadership development. It's not how you like to speak. It's not about keeping it real. This is me. This is how I speak. So I'm keeping it real and I'm keeping it 100 with me. No, it's not about me and how I like to speak and address people. It's really about how the person that I'm addressing likes to be addressed. That's where the power lies. And being able to pivot and switch and speak to multiple people in their multiple different languages. That's the soft skill that is elusive. And that's the challenge. And that's the opportunity. Your brand is a process. You won't get this overnight. But here is a good place to start. Isn't this a good place to start? You come here with everything that you have, you leave some things here and you pick up some new skill sets and you become a better communicator, become a more effective generator of revenue, relationships, and all of the other forms of capital that really mean something. My name is Shaan Rais, and that's my time. Thank you so much. Does anybody have any questions? Any questions at all before we go? As a matter of fact, I think somebody might have skipped something, so you might see me again a little bit later. But are there any questions about communication? Yes, ma'am.
I just wanted you to repeat earlier, you gave 4, your very beginning, meaningfulness over
value over valuation, and people over profit. So meaningfulness over money, impact over income, value over valuation, and people over profit. Yes, sir. Oh, you could just click on that. You could just type that in, and it'll take you right there. The Dream Communicator. Yes, sir, on the bottom. Yes, sir. So the bit.ly, the Dream Communicator, guys. If you want to become a Dream Communicator and understand the power and wield the power of what I'm talking about, then it's bit.ly/Dream Communicator. And it'll give you X-ray vision and communicative superpowers out of this world. You'll become so much more self-aware, and when you become more self-aware, you can become aware of so many more people. Talk to me, brother.
I just saw it. NIL? Is that name, image, and likeness?
It is. Name, image, and likeness. Talk to me.
Oh, we got to talk.
That's what I do. Personal branding. Yes, sir.
Yeah, we'll talk more. I'm thinking around blockchain technology.
Come on. Let's have the conversation. You see that? Communication. Communication. He saw something on my website that resonated with him. However, if I did not connect effectively, would you have said anything to me about that? Not at all. Not at all. So who knows where that conversation will go? But the conversation is predicated on the communication. Become a more effective communicator, you'll become a more effective connector. You become a more effective connector, you'll become a more effective generator. Thank you very much.